Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 AFC and NFC Championship update show. Because we're going to talk about the NFC Championship and AFC Championship games in just a moment. But first, I've got some Browns news, and here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Although I was going to do this as I meant to do a normal podcast this week, and I was working on this. Browns news, and it took me a lot longer, and I do apologize. So we're going to do an NBA trivia question today. Which NBA player once co-starred alongside Jean-Claude Van Damme in a major Hollywood action movie? I will have the answer later in the podcast. Now, I'm going to give you some Browns news first. So we're going to it's a farewell to the Browns because our season ended last week, and Kevin Stefanski was named 2020 NFL Coach of the Year, and congratulations, Kevin. You deserve it, buddy. You really do, buddy. Now the Browns are going to make some moves this offseason, and I'm going to announce the NFL Free Agents 2021 top 50 players who are potential fits for the Browns. Now the Browns enter this offseason coming off more wins in a season than any team since the franchise returned in 1999. Their foundation is firmly in place, although their season isn't over yet. There are potential off-season targets whose time is now running out with their current teams. With that in mind, here is an early look ahead to the 2020 NFL free agent class. The Browns could still have some to spend, roughly $24 million, according to SpotTrack.com and OverTheCap.com. That ranked them around the top third of the league in and with cap space as of mid-January. Oliver Vernon, Rashard Higgins, Terence Mitchell, and Carl Joseph are among some of the Browns' agents. Well, free agents, or agents you could say. Here's a look at the best based on grades during the 2020 season from Pro Football Focus, plus a few who should be considered despite incomplete performances during a coronavirus-altered year. Now, the new league is scheduled to begin on March 17th, following a franchise and transition player designation period between February 23rd and March 29th. Now, the draft is scheduled for April 29th through May 1st in Cleveland, right here in Cleveland. And I will be, on April 29th, I will be downtown podcasting at the NFL Draft. And I will have my special guest, hopefully my friend Matt Murphy will join me. And hopefully, hoping my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle, his cousin Aaron, my friend Richard Turner, and my co-anchor from Magnolia Clubhouse, my sports co-anchor, Keith Norman as well. But I'll have to wait and see. But just wait and see, and I will keep you updated if I will have all those. Hopefully, I will have my friend Matt Murphy, though. To begin a look ahead, here are 50 of the top potential free agents. Potential free agents including restricted free agents, starting with 10 players who didn't receive high marks during the season from PFF, but should be considered based on track record and value. Grading on a curve. This is what this is. These 11 players did not necessarily make the cut based on PFF's grades for a variety of reasons, but are still noteworthy based on previous play or contract situations. All right. Starting with Le'Veon Bell, Kansas City's running back, whose PFF grade was 73.9, 20 cap hit is $705,882. And he's 29 years old. Bell came to Kansas City in October on a one-year deal after being released by the Jets. He's a holdout. His holdout with Pittsburgh, was well documented and led to his departure for New York in 2019. In 8 seasons, he has two All Pro selections, and a third Pro Bowl nod to his credit. Bell rushed for 328 yards with another 138 yards receiving and 2 TDs between his time with the Jets and the Chiefs in the 2020 regular season. He will remain a player to watch, especially for a team hopeful he can still recapture those All-Pro runs with his last 1,000-yard season in 2017. All right, moving on now. A.J. Green, Cincinnati's receiver. His PFF grade 66.3. 2020 cap hit $18.1 million, and he's 33 years old. Green played on the franchise tag and had 523 yards with two TDs on 47 receptions in 2020. He played all 16 games after missing 7 in 2019 with an ankle injury. And next up, Melvin Ingram, Los Angeles Chargers edge rusher. PFF grade 72.3. 2020 cap hit $16.6 million. Age 32. Ingram landed on injured reserve in late November with a knee injury. He missed a handful of weeks earlier in the season to finishing 2020 with just 5 tackles and no sacks in 7 games. He still played well enough to earn one of PFF's higher grades among free agent pass rushers, depending on what happens with Oliver Vernon. Ingram could end up becoming an option for the Browns. However, retaining a younger Vernon could be more appealing than Ingram. He is about the same age as Adrian Claiborne, who is seated to return for a second season of a 2-year deal in Cleveland. Moving on, Jadeveon Clowney, Tennessee's edge rusher. PFF grade 74.9. 2020 cap hit $12.7 million, and he is age 28. The Browns reportedly expressed interest in last year in Clowney, before he signed with the Titans on a 1-year deal. A knee-ending injury ended his season in November. Clowney had no sacks with 14 tackles and a forced fumble in 8 games. He has 32 sacks in a 7-year career. If Clowney's asking price comes down, he could remain an ideal addition opposite Myles Garrett. Now moving on. Next we have Anthony Harris, Minnesota safety. PFF grade 66.2. 2020 cap hit $11.4 million. Age 29. Harris remained with the Vikings last year on the franchise tag after a career season in 2019 when he graded out at 91.1 with 66 total tackles and 6 interceptions. He had 4 interceptions this past season, but PFF gave him a 63.6 grade in coverage, scoring a 92.7 in 2019. Harris could be a potential fit for the Browns, depending on Grant Delpit's comeback from his Achilles injury that derailed his rookie season. And I'm hoping that we do get Grant Delpit back, but we'll have to wait and see. Next, we have Carl Lawson, Cincinnati edge rusher. PFF grade 76.3. 2020 cap hit $2.2 million. and he's 26 years old. Lawson is the highest graded edge rusher in the year's free agent class. The Bengals took him in the 4th round of the 2017 draft from Auburn. He had 8.5 sacks as a rookie in 2020. His best year since then with 6 sacks, 24 quarterback hits, and 34 hurries. And that's another potential fit for the Browns. Now, next we have Yannick Ngame, Baltimore edge rusher, PFF grade 69.4, 2020 cap hit, 5.1 million, age 26. Will Ngame end up with a 4th team within a year? Jacksonville traded him to Minnesota in August for a 2nd-round pick in this year's draft and a 5th-rounder in 2022. The Vikings then flipped him in October for a 3rd-round pick this year and a conditional 2022 pick. He finished the regular season with 7 sacks and 16 tackles. Now, he could be a potential fit for the Browns. We'll have to wait and see on that. Next up, we have next pick. We have the next potential free agent pick we have is Patrick Peterson, Arizona Cardinals cornerback. PFF grade 55.2, 2020 cap hit 13.1 million, and he's 31 years old. A 3-time All-Pro registered his worst season as a defender according to PFF. He had 3 interceptions, but gave 50 receptions on 75 targets and 5 touchdowns. His 61 total tackles in 2020 are the most since his rookie season, 64, when he earned All-Pro nod after coming out from LSU. Cornerback could remain a position to address for the Browns despite 2 young talents in former 1st-round pick Denzel Ward and 2nd-round pick Greedy Williams. Their absences this season, partial for Ward and all season for Williams, show why depth is a necessity. Terence Mitchell graded at 67.4 according to PFF during the regular season. That ranked 11th among unrestricted free agents and 12th, counting the Rams' Darius Williams, who was a restricted free agent and scored an 80.0 grade. Mitchell turns 29 by next season and cost the Browns $3.6 million in the final year of a 3-year contract. We'll see. This is another potential one, but we'll see what happens. Hassan Reddick, Arizona Cardinals edge rusher, PFF grade 72.8, age 26. The Cardinals drafted Reddick with the 13th pick in the 2017 draft from Temple. He is coming off a career high 13 sacks and 49 tackles in his 4th season. He crushed the Giants in Week 14 with a 5-sack performance that should keep the outside linebacker in Arizona. I'm running out of time. I'm going to take a break, and I'll be right back after I upload this first segment. So this will be a 2-part podcast. So I'll be right back. Stay with me. Stick around.